Let's go to the main scene. Hi, how are you? I hope that you're doing fine. So, today I decided to do a short stream because I'm still battling to do my app, and I really wanted to finish this month, but it probably won't be possible since I don't want to be pessimistic, right? Like, it's not even the 20th yet, but yeah, 10 days or so. I don't know. Because, like, technically, there is enough time for me to finish. The problem is that sometimes I battle with Kotlin to do the things that I know how to do. That's what's may get in the way, you know. For instance, I made an array to update the color of some buttons, right? But I, due to the way that activities are created on Android, hmm, updating an array does not generate a repaint event, and there is no way to call manually that I know of, at least, how to call this event manually. And Google tutorials taught me how to do it, but through using a software pattern, which is which is not something that should be in a base tutorial, in my opinion, but it is. Because I guess they are trying to train newbies, I don't know. That may work for Google, or most likely just people want to show off and they do this. Like, yes, anyone already did this, right? Your boss tell you to do, right, paint this door, you know? Because this door is all crappy and whatever. The paint is dry, is what cracked and whatever. And you think, okay, since I have to paint this door, this door, I will do the way I like it, right? Not the way that is easiest, but the way that I want it, because maybe I can learn something from it, right? Or something like that. So I guess the people who made the tutorials did something like that. Like, since I have to teach someone, then I will do a tutorial about stuff that I want to learn. Yeah. You, yeah, no, okay, not all. But some I can clearly see that someone was creating an app and thought, oh, I should have done this first. this first. And start adding things to make sense to the application launch. Or, or, or like, since I have to update this variable and I know how to do this, maybe I should try to teach them a software pattern. This way I will learn something, right? And they do the more convoluted way to do a simple task. It should be just a predicted array or make or force a recomposition. Most applications that deal with it the deal with graphic interface have a function to do a repaint. Apparently, Cloud doesn't have it. Kotlin doesn't have it. But I don't know. I'm not sure. It might be just that the people created Taurus didn't thought they thought well, it was important to take that, you know. That's an issue, technology course. If you're doing any TI course, uh, professors do not agree very well what should be taught. I know because I have content. I work on creating some courses too. And well, I say it's messy. Yeah, because like if you do like a traditional course, like I don't know, physics. Everybody knows what should be taught in physics, right? There is no doubt about it. But if you create a course in technology, people start to disagree what is important and what is not. Because it's a recent field. It's quite a new science anyway. And besides that, there are many people who are not graduated in the field. They are giving opinion on, like mathematicians and engineers, and they and word it was and word it was these people who decided the initial curriculum because there was no one graduated, of course, right? So it's like I'm creating a new science. There is no one graduated anything yet, right? So who created mathematicians and engineers? That's why you may find many people saying that computer science is mathematics or that computer science is engineer. Because it was engineers and mathematicians who created the field. But it's not. It's its own thing. Its own thing. It's its own thing. You know? And it will take a while before people realize that. I'm just lucky to realize first. That's what other people did already. I'm not saying that it doesn't use mathematics, that it doesn't use conceptual engineering, but it's not either. Either. it's its own thing. You know, that's my point. And it's easy to explain this to someone who already has some knowledge in the field, because I can simply say, imagine using an inheritance relationship. Of course, your father was mathematics, next, or was engineer, but you yourself, you're not mathematics. You inherit several things from one of these fields, but you're not it, right? People may not even know mathematics to learn about you, right? Right? How many classes that have parents that you never mess with the parents, right? You know there is a parent class that you use, right? But you never use any method from it, or you never look any code from it. or you use the method, but you don't look how to do it. You get my point? It's like yours is a calculator. For instance, every computer science could just use a calculator. There's no need for them to know how to do the operations. You understand my point? I hope so. Anyway, I'll just talk about that because I built my app, right? Other than that, I saw that Wukong, like the game about the Monkey King, is about to be released, right? So I bought it. I was a bit naughty. I shouldn't have bought it. I had many games in my library that I haven't played yet. But I did. Because I wanted to try to. Right? Between the games that I don't have any new release. And my PC is quite new, right? I built for streaming. I assembled it for streaming, right? And as I explained, I think it did it do. I bought the pieces and I assembled myself. So it's like my non-XD computer with my own brand, right? Once I have a logo, I can put it on my computer, like Apple or whatever. Anyway, so I wanted to have a game to test my setup. And I didn't. I need to test this. So Wukong will be the first. Of course, I could have waited for Doom Dark Age. Dark Ages next year. But yeah, to test now, right? There's still 5 months or more. Anyway, so I will be playing Wukong. Maybe probably this Wednesday. Like a treat for you. Since I missed one stream. And this will be a short one. On Wednesday, we'll have a stream with a new game, right? AAA. So I don't know if it is a AAA. I just know it could be classified as one. Because there are some requirements for a game to be AAA. Right? It has to be some. It's not only a matter of quality. Most gamers that you talk with, when they say that a game is a AAA, they only care about quality. But officially, there is a proper classification for it. It has to have some budget and some process involved. Be classified as a AAA. It's like an ISO classification, in a sense. Not exactly, but yeah, next to it, right? Because the ISO classifications require someone to test it, right? And AAA or 4As, nobody's testing it. As long as the company claims it is and fulfill the requirements, then it is. But for gamers, well, all that matters is the quality, right? And Wukong seems to have the quality of a AAA. That's why same. And it's based on that I'm classifying too. So yeah, they play Wukong on Wednesday. And Friday I was thinking about playing Final Fantasy. Since it has been a while, right? Let's continue with Down Trail on Friday, okay? And then the next day I will decide it. But I really want to play Final Fantasy now. I will not, the reason is that we not play on Wednesdays. It's because of Wukong. If Wukong is not releasing now, I will play Final Fantasy. But since it's the day of release, almost, right? Because it will be released tomorrow. I couldn't even finish the download today. But it's close to finishing. Anyway, so I will finish the game, download the game, install, run some tests, right? And on Wednesday, I will play it. But, and I think, because I think it's a great opportunity too for my channel to test to see if a hype game help it brings more viewers or not. Because if it doesn't, like I won't spend money buying new games. Right? Or even if I want the game like Wukong, I can't wait until the price drops. Okay? Unless it brings me some viewers. Then I can consider. I can do the math and see, well, maybe I should buy another many months or not. But this is a talk that I need to have to myself later. So in that process. Anyway. What else? Well, I play the Seven Guests, which is a puzzle game. I like puzzle games, despite I have not played any so far. Play an RPG, right? FPS. Batman is what? This is a detective game, adventure. But yes, maybe I haven't played yet a puzzle game on stream. I don't think I'll play Seven Guests because it's a really old game. That I enjoy, of course, but I can just post the puzzles in my channel later. But once I found a puzzle game that's more or less new, I will play on stream. I started recently playing Detective, but it was before I began streaming. So I'm quite advanced on the story. So I don't think it would be nice to stream. Even if I started from the beginning, like I already know the solution for some puzzles. And I don't want to pretend like that I'm smart. I want to when I play a game about puzzles, I want to share with you like my real time process of thinking how to solve them or how to solve a puzzle. Right? That will be more interesting than me just going around and solving everything until I reach a later point in the game. Wait, almost the ending the game. Maybe, like I don't know when it ends, so but it seems to be a short game since it's like indie. So I could be pretty close to the end already. It's my guess at least. Oh, I forgot to do some background noises, right? I know you can hear kind of my fan, but it's not intentional. It's best to have some nature sounds. Yeah, that's better. Not that loud. That loud, but yeah. And my mic seems to be behaving weird too. Today, I don't know why. Like, I try to raise the volume and it's not raising. Maybe the battery is weak. I don't know. I need to message Scott. It's a problem with the games. I don't. I'll check later. It was working when I tested, so yeah, it's good enough. The voice is not too low. Even if I can increase the volume, it's okay. For today's stream, at least. So anyway, what? We are going to talk about half an hour. Oh yeah, and as always, before stream, I ate something, took a bath, paint my nails, well, fix my hair, kind of spiritual stuff. Just so you know, because right before stream I quite a little busy. Besides coding, right? I still there. And stop that. I don't know. Anyway. So today we'll be watching the first Sherlock Holmes movie, an old one. Sherlock Holmes is a character from Arthur Conan Doyle, if you don't know. He's a British guy. Created a series of books. And these books have many adaptations throughout the decades. There are many people who have already played as Sherlock Holmes. Not only Robert Downey Jr., which I really hope that he will come back to play the third Sherlock Holmes in this series, the recent series, right? And it looks that it may happen in the next few years. My guess is the only reason that we don't have a third movie from Donald Jr. is because of the pandemic, right? Because the project for the third movie started more or less at the same time that the pandemic started. So that might have delayed everything. And I really hope that Superman has ended, but things seems to be more or less. The shit has already hit the fan. You know, there's nothing more that we can do. Like people are wearing masks and wearing masks. People don't care wearing masks and not wearing masks. And that's pretty much it, guys. And work has returned to normal too, despite that. So, yeah. So people may be doing movies again. They are doing movies again. So even Robert Downey Jr. is back on act. I don't know if you saw, but he will be playing Doctor Doom in a new Avengers movie. I don't know how they will find out, but probably because of multi universe, right? But it would be nice if he had enough to see him as Iron Man too. If only for a second. I think as another universe, Iron Man still exists. And that's a common thing that happens in comics, by the way. Like, one hero dies, but he died only in some universe, right? So, in another universe, he still exists, and he may come to this universe for some reason, or something like that. Besides resurrection and many other things that authors can do. Even reboots. Like DC loves to do reboots. Like mostly like because of the Flash. I don't know if you watched Superman, I guess was the three. I really old Superman. I don't know what's the name. The actor I don't remember. But it was the actor that suffered an accident and lost the movement of his legs. And this actor, he made a series of Superman movies. And the third movie, Superman flies really fast around the Earth and go travel back in time. Right? And the Flash recently, it's not recently, basically, but yeah, the current version of the Flash can travel to the past too by going really fast. And he can change, right? The whole universe. So whenever DC writer wants to like kill everyone or did something really bad, they thought, oh, yeah, there's no going back from that. Is that? Is it? I guess you have to change the plot for 20 characters. More. Let's do a reboot. Let's make Flash go back in time and change something to justify or bring everything as it was before. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I was talking about Sherlock Holmes. So this first 4 movies that we'll be watching is more or less It's not the oldest version that is of Sherlock Holmes, but it's more or less known. And it has only 4 movies in public domain. That's why I claim that it's more or less known, because some movies are still under copyright. So we watch the ones that aren't. So because then I know that any movie that comes before those is for certain public domain. There is no trouble, right? But these ones are in public domain for sure. Okay. So let me change to the. So let's start for the first movie. I will just watch the movie and then we'll say goodbye to each other. And maybe Wednesday and Friday we can do longer streams. One of them or both could be a 7-hour stream. Let's see, right? Maybe both, right? We should compensate for today, right? 2, 2, 4 plus 1, 5, 10. But if not, I can leave one of the 7-hour streams for next week. Okay? So, switch the movie. Just a second. Yes, conspiracy. Myself. Working. Table. Maybe here. Yeah. And it's another Universal Studios. I talked about it then, right? On my Twitter. There is a movie about Dracula, for instance, that's based on Bram Stoker that I want to bring to you because it's similar to Nosferatu, which is another movie that we have already watched here, but it's under copyright by Universal. As many other Sherlock Holmes movies are, right? Not this one, fortunately. And the name is Dressed to Kill. I was about to say something, but I forgot. Oh, on my Patreon, I was thinking about adding anything related to code or more useful tricks that I may do on my Twitter to there too. It'll be publicly available, of course, because it's the same thing that I post on Twitter. But like, if you don't care about knowing about my everyday life, you can just check my Patreon. Even if you're not a subscriber, there will be publicly available posts that will post hacks, secrets, tricks, and small tutorials. Code and things that I do with hardware, no, that will be private. You have to pay a small fee to see them. But these are small tricks that sometimes I do that may help you. I don't mind. It's like just a work around or something that I discover messing around with some app. So I may post that. Anyway, so let's start the movie, which is Dress to Kill. Is I don't remember now, but it's the mix of two stories of Sherlock Holmes. I don't remember the name. I haven't read of all books, by the way, of Arthur Conan Doyle. I know I should. Maybe now that I'm a streamer, I can finally have the time to read. I have the books, by the way, but I haven't read all of them yet. Except that I want to. The same thing with games, right? I have a library, a library of games, and I have a library of books. The same way that I haven't read all books, I haven't played all games. And sometimes I buy new books without reading all that I have. That happens anyway. And I hope that will be fixed soon, right? Like I'm playing my library by streaming these games or playing for relaxing during my free time, right? So I was thinking I could do the same thing with my books. Like I could pick a Sherlock Holmes book, read it, and post a review on my Twitter and Patreon. If someone finds that interesting, I can even do a stream about it. Like a book club, which I already seen some streamers trying to do, but they were not successful. So it depends on your audience, right? Your viewers. Depending on the views that you have, it might work or not. Anyway, since I have no viewers, so no viewers is sorry, I didn't mean that. I mean a few viewers. I don't have a sample big. That's what I meant. I don't have a sample big enough yet to know what is my viewership. What is best to stream to my viewers between the things that I enjoy doing. Right? Once I have a bigger audience, I can think and plan better for that. But for now, yeah, I will do everything that I like and see what works and what not. Anyway, so I talked way past 40 minutes. So let's start the movie. What is it? Breaks. Let me just decrease a little bit, right? The sound, so you can hear my voice. That's the best quality I could find.
Dartmoor Prison, isolated from the outside world by walls of granite.
Anyway, I'm sorry that the movie has subtitles. Actually, I added them because I know some people may have trouble with English, or they may have some condition that does not allow them to hear well. So subtitles is a must. Nosferatu didn't have it because it was a silent movie. But all movies that I was streaming will have subtitles. If you don't want subtitles, then you can watch it on your own later, right? There is even a newer version of this movie that is from the 80s. If you want to watch it, to make a comparison later, instead of watching this one. And I hope you watch with me. You can watch them later, the newest version, which has the same name. I will, but I can stream. I may post a review about it on my Twitter. That's one of the things that I do, post reviews about movies and anime that I watch too on my Twitter account. I can watch The Seventh Son, which is a movie under copyright. It's an old movie, but it's under copyright. So I watched and posted a review recently on my Twitter account if you want to see, for instance. The audio is bad, my voice. I don't know why. I'm speaking in the right position, the microphone, but it's behaving weird. I don't know if it's battery. Could be because of the battery. That's my guess, because once the battery is weak, I cannot fix the volume. At least past a certain height, a certain point, right? And as it loses more and more energy, you see that my voice will start to diminish little by little until I have to replace the batteries. And why don't you replace it now? No. Because I'm not sure that the other one is filled too. But once the stream is over, I will put both to recharge. Anyway, continue.
They say you could get out of here by merely telling what you know.
You may or may not be another Scotland Yard bloke, but I'll give you the same answer I gave the others. I still have 2 years, 8 months, and 6 days left in which to make musical boxes. That'll be some delightful sanctuary. And I intend to serve them.
Move along.
And now we come to the next object on our list, or I should say objects, because there are 3 of them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these can be bought together or separately. Now, these beautiful little music to put them on the auction block until later, but I'm going to sell them now. So, good friends, as our old pal Mark Antony used to say, lend me your ears. And what do you hear? Right. The beautiful tinkle tinkle of a musical box. What a lovely trinket. What a beautiful gift. Created and made by loving hands. A thing of beauty and utility. I was going to start with £5.
I like musical boxes.
It's a bargain, £5. Do I see any hands? If there's a connoisseur in the house, will go £3 for it.
Some people collect them, by the way.
£2. £1.
I don't, but I still like them.
10 shillings. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 shillings is offered for a musical box you couldn't buy anywhere in London for less than £5. It'd be stealing to let it go for 10 shillings. Like taking milk from a baby.
All right, we sell it for 10 shillings.
10 shillings, 10 shillings is offered, 10 shillings is offered, 10 shillings is offered. Then anybody give him £1? Will give him £1?
I won't someone give me a pound. A pound, £1 is offered, £1 is offered, ladies and gentlemen, £1 is offered against you, sir. Will you go to £2? Will you go to £2, sir?
£2. £2 is offered. £2 is offered. Going once.
One thing that I miss from
Third
the
and
old
last call.
times,
Sold to the gentleman
if
for
you can miss
£2.
anything from there.
Sorry, my dear.
Now,
Is
ladies
that-
and gentlemen, comes the
Is it
opportunity to
notice?
purchase an exact duplicate of the beautiful little musical box just bought by this gentleman for the ridiculous...
Why people stopped using
It's
hands.
exactly the same. Exactly the same. Made with the same hands.
You hear that? Isn't that lovely? That tinkle, 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 tinkle.
Sounds like Bow Bells to me, you know, with little angels pulling on the ropes, eh? Who'll give me £2 for it? Who's starting with £2? Will anybody start with £2? Oh, come, ladies and gentlemen. You know, from your enthusiasm, we might all be in Scotland instead of London.
Please buy it for me, Daddy.
It's still
£2
cool,
certainly
by the
not.
way,
We all might be
sometimes.
in Scotland. Besides,
When I
I
go
don't like
out.
his manner.
£1, 10 shillings.
£1.
I wear a hat.
£1 is ours. £1 is offered.
£1 is offered. Going £1. Any advance? Going once. Going twice. The third and the last call.
Sold to the lady for £1.
Smart bidding, my dear.
Thank you.
We come to the third and
And I
last of
mean
these beautiful little
hats,
musical
real
boxes.
hats.
Exactly the same.
No, I
Tinkle,
can't.
tinkle. Isn't that lovely? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't bring you here to gull you and swindle you. This is the exact replica of those two I just sold before.
What a cowboy hat.
We're closed.
But this is extremely important.
But, yeah.
Come in, sir, come in.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but I was
Most like the
unfortunately
ladies that
delayed
were
from
using-
arriving in time to bid on certain articles which
In
I
the
was
front
rather
hall.
anxious to obtain.
Oh, perhaps they weren't sold, sir. We are carrying several things over. What might the articles be, sir?
This gentleman
Three
is using.
identical musical boxes, about so large.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but they were sold. Pity you weren't here to bid on them. They didn't bring anything.
To obtain them, I wonder if your records would show who the purchasers were.
Oh, we don't usually give out that information, sir.
For certain, shall we say, sentimental reasons, I'm most anxious to get in touch with the purchasers. I'd be willing to pay, shall we say, £5.
Well, to oblige. Alfred, today's sales. The 3 musical boxes.
Musical boxes. Here we are.
The first purchased for £2 for Mr. Julian Emery, 52 Portman Square. Write these addresses down, Alfred.
Yes, sir.
Second didn't leave any name.
Oh, how unfortunate.
I think she's a dealer. You see, they don't like us to know where the things are going.
On account of the profits.
Whatever problem
You
you
say
noticed
the
with the sound
second purchaser was a woman. Can you
is from the
give me a
movie itself,
description of her?
okay?
Oh, she was a young woman.
It's
Fairly
not
tall, slender.
my transmission.
A light complexion and dark hair, and she was wearing
A grey suit, don't you remember?
Some of
She
these old
probably runs
movies
a
is
gift
hard.
shop. She
find.
paid £1.
You say
Uh,
she comes here
quality.
fairly frequently?
No, I didn't say so. But she does, sir. Like as not, she'll come in on Thursday. We have sales on Mondays and Thursdays.
And the third box?
The third, Mr. William Kilgore, 143B Hampton Way.
For 10 shillings.
I saw some
Quite a drop.
a
from-
version of it that
Scotch.
people use AI
Thank
to
you.
try to
Most helpful.
Oh,
improve it.
thank you, sir. And
That you
anytime
may
you
find
pass
it
in,
on
drop in.
YouTube,
We always have lovely things for sale.
but I didn't like the
Thank
result.
you. I'll be back Thursday.
I thought it was way worse. Worse than watching the original. Let's you keep checks.
The message reached us too late.
Like if you want to play it on
Musical
your own.
boxes are being sold.
I believe AI
Let's
is
get
the
out of
greatest thing ever. They recommend that you check out their play.
Someday you'll go too far.
Reaching for a star, you fool.
Yet a fool may touch a star, Colonel Cavanaugh, if he but reach high enough.
But not possess it as you would.
The musical boxes, they're being sold. What a pity for you, my dear Colonel.
Is it my fault that the message reached us only an hour ago? Is it my fault that they were sold? You can't hold me responsible for that.
Hope for your sake you're right.
I just realized that it's best to put OBS in front of me. I have two monitors and usually OBS is on my right side. Because in front of me I put the game, right? This is a movie. It's best to have it
Upon you
in front
tonight
of
at
me.
7:45, a gentleman who desires to consult you upon a matter of the very deepest moment. Remember that letter, Holmes? It was written over 2 years ago. An interesting case, devilishly interesting. Irene Adler. What a striking looking woman from the brief glance I had of her. Seems only yesterday. What charm. What poise and what a mind. Sharp enough and brilliant enough to outwit the great Sherlock Holmes himself.
I take it the new issue of the Strand magazine is out,
If you
containing
don't
another
know
of your
Sherlock
slightly
Holmes,
lurid
he
tales.
played the
It is indeed.
violin
this one?
to
I call it A Scandal in Bohemia.
to help
Not a bad
think.
title, eh?
To think
You
his
must record
process,
my exploits,
his thinking process.
dramatic, and more on the intellectual issues involved.
More on the what do you mean by that?
Well, I do hope you've given the woman a soul. She had one, you know.
By the woman, I suppose you mean Irene Adler.
Yes. As the woman.
Irene Adler is maybe a lover of Sherlock Holmes, or someone that he has a deep affection.
That's it, old boy. How are you?
How are you, old boy? I haven't seen you for years. I want you to meet my old friend Sherlock Holmes. Holmes, this is Stinky. In other words, Julian Emery.
How do you do, Mr. Emery?
It's a speculation, right?
Oh, has he? Yes, we were at school together.
It's more years ago than I care to remember, but you didn't come in here just to remind me of that.
Never
I
married
just
or
happened to be in the
anything like that.
neighborhood and saw your lights burning, so I took the liberty of looking you up. Still writing your mystery stuff?
He
Here's
seems
a
to
new one out
like
this week.
Irene Adler.
Good, I never miss them.
Oh, good. Thanks. I say that bandage makes
Irene
you pretty
Adler? I don't
interesting.
know how to pronounce
Still
it.
poking your nose into other people's business as usual? Who hit you?
I haven't the foggiest notion. Somebody knocked me on the head in my own living room, and then proceeded to commit the most idiotic burglary you ever heard of. Fellow must have been balmy as a coot.
Balmy? Why? Come sit down, old boy.
Yeah.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Huh? Oh, all right.
I'll go and tell Mrs. Hudson about it.
Why do you say the robbery was idiotic, Mr. Emery?
Oh, simply from the fact that with about £5,000 worth of musical boxes in my living room, the thief, who I caught in the act, made off with one that isn't even worth £5.
I gather you're a collector of musical boxes.
Yes, I am indeed. Some of them are very beautiful, but not the one that was stolen. The thief evidently grabbed the
I
first
just
thing that
said
came
that.
to his hand when he heard me.
Odd, isn't it, that having disposed of you, he didn't pick up something more valuable? Was there anything unusual about the stolen box?
No, nothing at all. No, I picked it up in the south of France, several years ago.
You say you have many valuable music boxes, and yet the thief made off with one that isn't worth £5. Sounds like rather an intriguing little problem.
Well, I take it that he was just an ordinary petty...
Possible explanation, and yet I venture to say that the average petty thief has a more extensive knowledge of the value of objet d'art than the average collector.
Well, anyway, that's Scotland Yard's theory. They didn't get very excited about it.
That's consistent anyway. I wonder if I might see your collection, Mr. Emery.
Why, of course you could, yes. Nothing a collector likes more than showing off his...
Next present.
Good. My place is just round in Portman Square.
Shall we?
Yes, right.
Hello?
Yes,
Where are you going? Stinky hasn't had his tea yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're going round to my place, where I'm going to give you something better than tea. Now, this one was made for Louis XV, and is one of the very few still in existence from that period, and a particularly fine specimen at that. Charming, isn't it?
Quite.
They all sound to me like a lot of mice running about on a tin roof.
I'm afraid you have no ear for music, Watson.
Give me a good old band playing a rousing march. You have all your silly little tweets. Another room. This is me.
Bunny?
Stupid thing. Singing rabbit.
What would you say offhand is the value of a box like that, Mr. Emery?
Well, it's hard to say offhand, but I think we'll bring about £500 or £600 today. It's the gem of my collection.
Yet a thief who steals an oddity like a musical box passes up one worth £500 for one of almost no value at all. Odd. Very odd. What was the stolen box like, Mr. Emery?
Oh, just a plain wooden box about so big. As a matter of fact, I have one over here almost exactly like it. I picked this up yesterday at an auction room in Knightsbridge. Paid only £2 for it. Of course, I wouldn't in the ordinary way add one like this to my collection, but the tune intrigued me. I'd never heard it before. You have a remarkable ear for music, Holmes.
Rather an unusual melody.
Sit down, will you?
Thanks. You were... today?
Yes, the Gaylord auction rooms in Knightsbridge. Run by old, what's his name?
Crabtree.
Oh, about 3 o'clock this morning.
You know, Mr. Emery, that box and the robbery might well say that the stolen box outwardly resembles this one a great deal. And, eh?
Oh, yes, but I wouldn't blame him for that, especially as I told him I was quite unable to describe the thief, except, of course, for the fact that it was definitely a man.
All you remember is that you came in here and someone struck you on the head.
Yes, the next thing I knew, my man was trying to revive me.
If I could...
Oh, I don't think that's necessary. Besides, everything's insured.
Well, at least if any further attempts at robbery are made, I'd suggest that you call the police, rather than running into any personal danger.
Oh, come, Holmes, aren't you being a bit of an alarmist?
Possibly.
Well, I must agree with old Stinky. Seems to me you are making rather a mountain out of a moleskin.
Molehill is the word, old boy, and it's time you were in bed. Thanks so much for letting us see your face.
Now the day has been glad meeting you.
Holmes, I can't understand why you were so mysterious. Seems to me the petty thief explanation was the only sensible one.
Really?
Yes, I can't see how you can believe it was anything else.
The petty thief theory is the obvious one, I grant you. However, it's often a mistake to accept something as true merely because it's obvious. The truth is only arrived at of eliminating the untrue. We are not able to do that in this case without further data.
Rubbish, you're pulling my leg. You're trying to turn a tuppenny halfpenny robbery into an international plot.
No, I'm not. I just hope that your friend Stinky is a little more cautious in the future. Just in case.
Like to determine the truth, you have to cross out
Yeah? Yeah? Julian Emery here.
everything that could be.
Why, of course I remember you, Mrs. Courtney. Yes, you're the one bright spot at that appallingly dull affair of Lady Sanford's. Huh?
Yeah,
It isn't too late to come round. Yes, I shall be delighted to give you a drink.
Because in
And you know what?
mathematics we have
Come straight up and I'll leave the
communicated
door
derived
unlatched.
proofs.
Right, well,
Proofs
15 minutes?
for one
Good.
basic proof.
I shall be counting each moment.
And develop from that.
No, I mean that, really.
But
Right, goodbye.
rational thinking involves defining what are the causes, the true causes for an event. But, right? Think about this.
You startled me.
Did I?
Yes.
Must be the pixie in me.
I know I shouldn't have called you so late. But I was at a party just around the corner.
Wake up.
And I remembered your invitation to see your collection of
In
musical
our
boxes.
garden
My
is
dear
what?
Mrs. Courtney, pleasure is all the greater for being
Do
so
not
unexpected.
assume right away
friends call
that
me
it has
Hilda.
rained.
Thanks. Mine called me Stinky.
Stinky, how quaint. Oh, what a perfectly wonderful collection of musical boxes.
Now that
You know,
someone
when you
has
told me about the
watered
collection, I had no idea it was so attractive.
your garden.
They appeal to the ear as well as
You need
to
to
the
determine
eye.
all the possibilities
plain
until you can
little one.
determine
Why, it looks just like a country
What is
cousin
the
amid all
truth?
this grandeur.
That's
No,
what's
no, you mustn't underestimate the country cousin.
what
I only
Sherlock
last night a
Holmes was
burglar
talking
broke in
about.
here, and with all these to choose from, went off with one very much like it.
Really?
Yes, I don't mind the loss of the box so much, but I do
I don't
resent
like
this crack
them
on the skull.
But it makes you look so interesting.
Oh, do you think so? It's funny,
That
that's what
seems
old
to be
Pastor
okay.
said.
That's so?
I mean, Dr. Watson. He was here this evening with a friend, Mr. Holmes. He's interested in my collection, too.
Sherlock Holmes?
Yes. Do you know him?
I've heard of him.
Yes, he seems to think I'm in some sort of danger.
What a haunting tune. It takes me right back to my childhood.
Really? You know, it's odd that you should be interested in that particular musical box.
Odd. Why?
Because Mr. Holmes is also interested in it.
He may have been more interested in the tune than in the box.
My dear Jess, that's right. I remember now. He whistled it note for note, having heard it only once.
Really? He must be a remarkable man.
Bit of an alarmist, if you ask me.
Don't you believe in warnings?
Of course not. Who'd want a box like that?
I would.
You're not serious.
Oh, but I am.
Well, you put me in a very awkward position. I'm a collector, you know. And the collector buys but never sells.
But if the price were high enough.
Price has nothing to do with it. It's the principle of the thing. Yes, well, we haven't had our drink.
No, thanks. I must be getting along.
Must you really?
Yeah, people
afraid so.
okay get by.
You're not walking out on me, are you?
Like,
My reputation.
if you don't care about collections and
I
you
say, you know,
find
you are an attractive woman.
a music box, now that you know that some people collect, you can try to sell them, right?
I
To
told you to wait
collect
outside. What did you have to kill him for? All I had to do was walk out with this.
He held you in his arms.
Don't touch him. Don't touch anything. Now get out.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry. What about me? This is murder. What about Scotland Yard? What about Sherlock Holmes? Now get out!
And what will she do? Nice that her skin is perfectly white. No signs of blood.
Did you get it? Good. Did you have any trouble with him?
Just a matter of murder.
Ah, Mr. Holmes.
Hopkins?
Thanks for coming so promptly. Inspector Lestrade suggested that I call through to you.
Mr. Emery was a client of Mr. Holmes, Inspector.
Indeed. You didn't mention that when I telephoned you, Mr. Holmes.
Well, not exactly a client, Inspector. Sergeant Thompson?
He was killed between the hours of 11 and 2 o'clock this morning, Mr. Holmes.
Must have been someone he knew, someone of whom he had no suspicion.
Poor old Stinky. It's all my fault. I should have prevented this.
Well, it's no time to start talking about that now, Doctor.
Apparently it's gone. That's the second attempt on the musical box that Emery bought at the auction sale. And this time it was successful.
But that box was only worth £2.
It was worth a man's life, Watson. Auction room and that fellow Crabtree. Inspector, may I suggest that you make a complete search of this flat for a small size. Thank you. Come on, Watson. Mr. Julian Emery. Second to Mr. Kilgore, 143B Hampton Way. And the third to the unidentified young lady who presumably has a shop and lives near Golders Green.
That's right, Mr. Holmes.
Isn't it rather strange, Mr. Crabtree, that you should have had 3 identical musical boxes?
Dartmoor prison.
Dartmoor?
Here, we get a regular shipment from there every month. The inmates manufacture them. Paper baskets, musical boxes.
Did you happen to notice if anyone showed any particular interest during the auction in the purchasers of these 3 boxes? Oh, come on, Mr. Crabtree.
Well, since you put it that way, Mr. Holmes, there was a gentleman came in here about an hour after closing time, and he was in an awful state, he was. He gave me £5 to tell him where the boxes had gone to. He said they had a sentimental value for him, sir.
Expensive sentiment.
Can you describe him?
Grey hair and a moustache. He was quite a gentleman, sir.
What was his reaction when you were a young lady who owned the shop?
I told him the young lady usually comes. But that's tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Crabtree. You've been very helpful. Thank you. Come along, Watson.
Where are we going now, Holmes?
To the home of Mr. Kilgore, the man who bought the 3rd box.
But hang it all, Holmes, how do you know those other 2 musical boxes?
I certainly have no intention of waiting until the owners are murdered to find out.
No one at home.
I hope that's the explanation.
I'll have a look through this window. Doesn't seem to be anyone there. The whole place seems deserted as far as I can see.
Kilgore at home?
No.
When do you expect them?
Oh, in an hour or so. There's no use you're hanging about. They don't buy nothing from peddlers.
Peddlers? My good woman, this is Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes? Oh, go on.
Do you mind if we come in and wait? My business is rather urgent.
Well, I've got to go out and do my shopping. And I don't know if Mrs. Kilgore like any strangers nosing about.
Quite all right, I assure you.
Well, I've got to be off. You two wait in the parlor. And no smoking either. Mrs. Kilgore says it smells up the house.
Funny old girl, Holmes.
Park Lane.
Park Lane? And what would the likes of you be doing in Park Lane?
Now, don't worry about the fare, Ducky. If you knows how to get to Park Lane, up it.
You know, Holmes, I've been thinking. There must have been something hidden in that box of old stinkers. Stolen jewelry, possibly. What's up, Holmes?
Listen.
What's this, the steam in the water pipes? Watson! Great Scott! Come on, Holmes. Get on the chair here.
It's all right, my dear. There. Now, don't worry. It's all over.
There you are, dear. Don't cry anymore.
She tied me up and shut me in the cupboard.
I know. She won't come back. Did you show her your new musical box?
Yes, she said she wanted to hear it play, and as soon as I showed it to her, she grabbed hold of
No, I
me.
know. Now, don't worry. We'll buy you a new musical box.
Yes, my dear, the best one in London.
Watson. Oh, what a fool I've been.
What do you mean, Holmes?
She took the musical box out of this house in that market basket, right under our very noses.
Why could the Kilgore charwoman want to take the music box?
She isn't. Yes. An extremely clever, unscrupulous woman who will stop at nothing. Take care of the child, will you, Wolfella, till our parents get back. Explain everything to them.
Of course I will. But, Holmes, Where are you going?
Somewhere, somehow. Box before our opponents find out. I only hope that I won't be too late.
Oh, no. No, darling, you mustn't cry anymore. Now, cheer up. Would you like to hear old Uncle make a noise like a duck?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry?
Duck.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, how much am I offered for this beautiful lace Dresden china figurine? A lady of the French court. Now, this is the genuine article. Mantelpiece. Or you could use it as a centerpiece on the dining room table. Now, will somebody start me for £10? Will somebody start me for £10? £8? £7? All right, £5 is offered, £5 is offered, £5 is offered, £5 10, £5 15, £5 15. £6 is offered, £6, going once, going twice, the third and the last call. Have you all done? Sold to the lady from Twickenham for £6. Next, we have a real museum piece, ladies and gentlemen. A fine 19th century doll. A costume and exact replica of the holiday clothes worn by the Hungarian peasant women. Now, ladies and gentlemen, £50 in a West End shop. I'm not going to ask you anything like that. Who'll give me £2 for it? £2. Anybody offer me £2? £2 for the Hungarian? £2? £1. What? Anybody give me £1? Anybody offer me £1 for the doll? £1 is offered, ladies and gentlemen. £1 is offered. Now, I'm not going to waste your valuable time or mine in trying to get one half of what this beautiful doll is worth. If the young lady can steal it for £1, that's her good fortune. So it's going once, it's going twice, the third and last call. Any more? Sold to the young lady for £1. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I draw your attention to something which may be a great surprise to you, worthy of any collection. The only other one like it is in the British Museum. It's a Ming vase of the 7th dynasty. This vase lay in a large collection somewhere outside Rome for over 2 centuries, I understand. It was discovered there by the noted antiquarian Sir Andrew Coppleston. As some of you may remember Sir Andrew Coppleston, besides being a noted traveller and antiquarian, he's also a gentleman rider.
A girl with a parcel in her hands, that's her.
Are you sure that's the girl? Follow her, Hamid.
It's lovely, dear.
At least 3 for it.
Easily. I'll go make some tea.
I could do with a cup.
Right.
I'm starting to think that may have
Good
to do with
afternoon.
recording.
Good afternoon. I'm looking for a birthday gift for a 7-year-old girl. What would you suggest?
We have some lovely dolls. Now, this Hungarian
I think
peasant-
she has enough dolls already.
Books are always welcome.
Well, I'm looking for something a little different.
Oh, that's rather cute. What is it?
Well, that's a musical box. Children always love them. And this is an exceptionally nice one. It plays many tunes.
Next time I will test it. Remove it under different
Have you any
products.
others?
Yes. If you'll just step this way.
For string.
I have
Maybe
only
some
2 left.
products are not adequate for string.
Oh, nice. Are you sure this is all you have?
I'm sorry. They're rather hard to find, you know. I did have one other, but I sold it earlier this afternoon. But it was only a plain wooden one. It wouldn't have been a very nice gift for a child.
Really? Do you happen to know who the purchaser was?
Why, yes. He left his card, just in case anyone should inquire for him.
How interesting. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'll have to look a bit further. Thank you anyway.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Heavy!
Follow that cab.
Here now, what?
Scotland Yard.
Hop in.
Sherlock Holmes. I might have known.
We thought we were the hunters, instead of which we're the hunted.
We'd been fools. We played right into his hands. Of course. He's had us followed. Don't look. The man in front of the toy shop. Hamid. Turn sharp right at the next corner and again at the next.
No photograph of her, Commissioner, as I expected. She's not a known criminal.
But how do you expect to know if you do find her? After all, she was disguised as a charwoman.
Don't worry, old fellow. If I ever see her again, I'll recognize her.
Well, it won't be long till we know who they are and from where they operate. Who's covering them?
Sergeant Thompson's following them, sir. They won't get away from him. He's a good man.
We could have arrested them at Clifford's toy shop if we had any proof.
But we know that they killed Emra.
Proof, my dear fellow. We must have proof.
We've x-rayed it, sir. There's nothing whatever concealed in the box.
We'll have a look at the plates.
There must be some... Yes, that we've all overlooked it.
Seems to me we're up against a bunch of lunatics.
Not lunatics, my dear fellow. Extremely astute, cold-blooded murderers.
What can these little musical boxes have in them that's so important? Don't forget, they were made in Dartmoor prison. You can smuggle stuff into prison, but not out.
You want us to break the box apart, sir, to see if there's anything the x-ray hasn't caught?
No, not yet.
You mind if I take it?
Certainly.
Thanks.
The governor of Dartmoor Prison informed us, sir, in answer to Mr. Holmes' boxes were made by the same convict, John Davidson, serving a 7-year term, sir.
Davidson?
The Bank of England plates.
That'll be all.
Yes, sir.
Now we're getting somewhere. Wait a minute. How did you know about the plates, Mr. Holmes?
I'm a student to know about such things. And when the name of Davidson was mentioned...
Well, who is this fellow Davidson?
As long as Mr. Holmes seems to know all about it already, I suppose there's no harm in telling you. 2 years ago in London, there occurred a robbery of such tremendous importance, although the stolen articles themselves have no intrinsic value whatsoever, that the Home Secretary was instrumental in seeing that not a word of it appeared in any newspaper.
But you never told me anything about this, Holmes.
You were away at the time.
Articles of no intrinsic value and yet of such importance? I don't understand.
Davidson was apprehended within 15 minutes time. He'd hidden the articles in question and they've yet to be found.
Before going further, Dr. Watson, I must inform you that this matter is not to be mentioned outside of this room.
Of course not. Do I look like a man who gossip?
Let's not go into that now, old fellow, shall we?
Of your problem.
Davidson had been employed for years.
You will not be able
in a
to
position of
hear
extreme trust.
From time to time, like what they are
The
saying.
articles he stole were nothing less than a complete duplicate set of plates for printing £5 notes.
What? The Bank of England's own plates?
Precisely. And with those plates, a gang of crooks could flood England with £5 notes Not
You know,
forged in the usual sense of the
they were
word,
talking.
but notes undetectable from genuine Bank of England notes in any way whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure it's because of cold that
Any
summer.
whisper at all might have resulted in enormous damage in
Does
shaking
that
public
have enough
confidence in the
bandwidth?
Treasury.
We tried everything after we arrested Davidson.
And they moved
Offered
his
him a shorter
notes
sentence if
that
he'd tell us where he'd hidden the plates. Why, we
high quality
even put
to
in
be
Scotland Yard men with him as cellmates, but no
troubling
results.
my
Obviously,
memory.
Davidson is a man of strong character and infinite
CPU.
patience. Yet suddenly he feels impelled to the plates to his confederates. Why?
I don't understand, Mr. Holmes.
Well, for example, has the Bank of England made any plans to radically change the design of the £5 note so that in, say, 7 years from now, notes made from the stolen plates would be worthless?
Confidentially, Mr. Holmes, such a move was discussed, but replacing all such a Herculean task that nothing's been done about it as yet.
I see. Of course, there is another possibility. Time to find a hiding place before he was captured. He may be afraid before he's released. Hence his anxiety to communicate their whereabouts to his confederates as soon as possible.
I believe you've hit it, Mr. Holmes.
I'm sure that the message is contained in this musical box. Or rather, in all 3 musical boxes. Essential. Our opponents have 2/3 of the puzzle, we have 1/3.
Well, what are you going to do, Holmes?
Try to deduce the message from the 1/3 that we have. It's the same tune as the one played by Emery's musical box. And yet it's different.
Sounds the same to me.
The tune. Somehow the tune is the key to the mystery. It must be the tune. Otherwise, why use 3 musical boxes to convey the message? Or shoe boxes.
Yes? Oh. It's for you, Inspector.
Oh. Dr. Hopkins speaking. What? Where? Golders Green Station reports they've just found Sergeant Thompson's body. From the tire marks on his clothes, he was apparently run over by a taxi.
What an unfortunate accident.
Not an accident, my dear fellow. I'm afraid it's murder.
Oh, you never know just who you're going to meet when you're walking down a busy London street. Mrs. Hawkins, Mrs. Brown, any subject of the crowd. Oh, you never know just who you're going to meet. So you better hold your topper in your hand, just in case you meet a lady on the strand. Girls will think you're kind of sweet, and your day will be complete. Though you never know just who you're going to meet. Now a gentleman is judged by his appearance. Yes, a gentleman is judged by how he talks. Now he's much better off when he's acting like a toff, especially if he's taking him a walk.
What on earth is this outlandish place?
A rendezvous for actors.
Actors?
Buskers, old boy. You've seen them 1,000 times. Actors who entertain the queues, waiting outside theaters.
You never know just who you're going to meet when you're walking down a busy London street. So you better wear your best, how advised to look your best, 'cause you never know just who you're going to meet. So you better keep your manners right in view, just in case a lady gives a how-do-you do. your trousers in a pleat. Shine your shoes and keep them neat, 'cause you never know just who you're going to meet.
Blimey. Mr. Holmes.
How are you, Joe?
Never met him. And yourself?
Fine, thank you. I want you to meet a friend of mine, Dr. Watson, Joe's sister.
Oh, well, any friend of Mr. Holmes is a friend of mine.
Hi, Joe.
He did me a good turn once that I'll never forget.
Yes, I hear Joe of a most unpleasant charge.
Murder, no less.
For Sherlock Holmes that I made
Police
Players
that he was
Strength.
busy at the time, blowing open someone's safe.
That's right, Governor.
Good gracious me.
Joe,
In the future.
now you can help me.
Come on, buzz off, buzz off. Come on, up it, up it. Can't a gentleman have some peace and quiet around here? And you too. There you are, Mr. Holmes. Now we can have some peace and quiet around here.
Thank you, Joe. There's £5 in this for you.
Sherlock Holmes is just
Well,
one of the
I wouldn't
most
want to take it on
famous
myself, sir. But I can get somebody to do it for you for
And
half
they
of
are
that.
You don't know what the job is yet.
For £5?
They
Murder,
have
ain't it?
games also.
What? No, Joe, not murder, just music. I want you to identify a song for me.
Oh, there ain't a song that's been written that I don't know.
That's why I came to you. Of course, the violin is more my instrument, but, oh well. Here we go. Now listen to this, Joe.
Wait a minute. You're playing not E flat.
You know the song?
Oh, yes. It's an old Australian song called, Ain't It All Wrong?
That's what I hoped you'd say. Now listen again, Joe.
That's the same tune, all right. Did the first time.
No, not mistakes, Joe. Call them variations. Here, play the song for me, will you, the way it's written.
There you are.
Thank you, Joe.
What's it mean, Holmes? You onto something?
Perhaps. I don't know yet. It's probably a code of some sort. Joe, could you write the song down for me? The way it was originally written?
Oh, sure, Mr. Holmes. But it'll take a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Mabel. Pale ale. Come on, up to it. On with it.
Well, obviously it isn't the lyrics. No combination of those words made any sense at all.
The variations in the way Emery's musical box played the tune are different from the variations in the one we have.
You sure?
Quite. You see, I took the trouble to memorize the tune as played by Emery's box that night we were with him in his flat.
Holmes, you amaze me.
Elementary, my dear fellow. One of the first principles in solving crime is never to disregard anything, no matter how trivial.
But why are there 3 boxes? Why not 1?
Because the message was obviously too long to be conveyed by any one variation. Then there's the 3rd box, the one that woman took from the Kilgores. That contains yet another set of variations.
Yes, well, it's all beyond me.
Well, all we have to do now is to find the secret of the variations. Not a very easy problem to solve, my dear fellow. Hello.
What's up?
We've had company.
I say, this is outrageous.
Ask Mrs. Hudson to come in here, will you?
Right. Mrs. Hudson?
Yes?
Oh, there you are. Will you come up here at once, please?
Coming, sir. Mercy me, Mr. Holmes. What has happened?
Who called while we were out, Mrs. Hudson?
Just a young lady. The one who said you wanted her to wait for you. And a nice-looking old gentleman with
Our
her.
friends again, Watson.
Friends?
What did the young lady look like?
Oh, I couldn't see her face. She had a heavy black veil on. But she had such a nice way with her. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes, if I've done anything wrong. But you did say I should always let clients come in and wait for you.
Don't worry, Mrs. Hudson, don't worry. You had no way of knowing. It's quite all right, quite all right. Now, don't worry, Mrs. Hudson.
Don't worry. Where on earth's the musical box?
They didn't get it.
Didn't get it? Where is it?
It's in your hand. Huh? In that biscuit jar. Biscuits off the top. Now put your hand inside, and you'll find the music box.
Well done, Holmes. Well done. Amazing.
I think I did right.
Nice fresh smell. Like a pub after closing time.
I'm feeling tired. Because I'm doing
I say, Holmes?
Then it's going here.
It's morning.
Allow me.
I don't like when they make...
It's not a transposition.
What's
polygraph transposition,
kind
not a
of,
trigraph, nor any known form of decoding.
How about the Morse code? Have you tried that?
Yes, at about 3 o'clock this morning.
I'm sorry, old
That's
man. I was going
why
to try to help.
Sherlock Holmes appreciates Watson Company. This is not but some movies they try to put Watson's someone
Not again. Must have heard that thing 1,000 times.
as the
Wait all night.
viewer could relate to. Since it's hard to relate to a genius, right?
Conversation, I grant you.
You know perfectly well I don't know one tune
They
from
make
the other.
Watson done.
When I was a kid, my people tried to have me taught the piano.
Some movies do that, not
I
all.
felt sorry for that old teacher of mine. The poor old girl finally reached the point of numbering the keys for me. 1, 2, 3.
Seriously?
Even then, I never progressed beyond it.
Numbering the keys, Watson. The 19th key of the keyboard. Alphabet. S. Here. Write it down when I give it to you, fellow, will you? The first altered note. Write S first. Now, the 8th key is H. The 5th key, E. The 12th key, L. The 6th key, F.
S-H-E-L-F. Shelf.
Your piano lessons were not in vain, old fellow. You've solved it. Thank you.
Thanks, old bean. Hold it.
We now have 2/3 of the message. Behind books, 3rd shelf, secretary, Dr. S. Presumably, these are the first and second portions of the message.
And this gang has the first and third parts of it.
Precisely.
Then it's a stalemate?
There's no doubt in my mind that they'll try to secure our 1/3 of the message that's missing.
Guard the Clifford music.
Oh, yes, it's carefully hidden at Baker Street with Dr. Watson on guard. However, I'm reasonably certain that, difficult as it may be, we can find the plates even without the missing part of the message.
Behind books, 3rd shelf, secretary, Dr. A.
The fact that Davidson hid the Bank of England plate somewhere in London, Mr. Holmes, I don't see that we've progressed at all.
Allow me to point out to you, sir, the key words, Dr. S. It looks as if the plates were hidden in the house of the doctor. Whether S stands for his first or last initial remains to be determined by a process of elimination.
Well, there must be S for a first or last initial.
Precisely. And every one of them will have to be questioned in person. That's why I say this is a task for Scotland Yard.
It's a task, all right. But and found the needle.
Well, for the time being, I'll leave the matter in your hands, gentlemen.
To lead on our mysterious Dr. S.
Thank you. In the meantime, I intend to follow up a little clue concerning a cigarette.
That's the boring part of science.
You're certain of the identification of the tobacco?
Absolutely. I have made up this special blend for only 3 customers. It is almost pure Egyptian, with admixture.
I talk to every doctor that has
and a pinch of perique.
S as a
Merely
niche.
a whisper as
Did it
one
really
might say,
work?
for elusive fragrance.
Yes, yes. And
Someone has
the 3
spirits.
customers?
Yeah. Mrs. Catherine Leamington Smith in Ireland.
Yes, and the 3rd?
Mrs. Hilda Courtney of Park Mansions, Bryanston Square.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You've been most helpful.
It is a pleasure to have been of service, Mr. Holmes.
And there are sometimes of sampling that require
Mrs. Courtney?
use of the light.
My name is Sherlock Holmes.
Do come in.
Thank you.
I've heard of your course.
Like I need to
I
talk
believe you
to
have a mutual
200
friend in
people
Sir Edward Brookdale. He's
between
spoken
the
to me
ages
quite
of
often.
A and B. Between the ages of A
And
and
to
B.
what good fortune am I indebted for this visit?
I think you know Mrs. Courtney.
Well, I did get a summons for speeding last week. But outside of that, I don't think I'm of any interest to the police.
Oh, come now, Mrs. Courtney. You seem to forget that you and I have met before.
I'm sorry. I'm sure I would have remembered meeting the great Sherlock Holmes. Please sit down.
Thank you.
You say we met before.
Yes. 43B Hampton Road.
Kilgore? I don't think I know anyone of that name.
Well, I didn't say you knew them. On them when they were out.
I don't understand, Mr. Holmes.
Really? And you were dressed rather differently.
Indeed. Cigarette?
Thank you. Thank you. You know, Mrs. Courtney, people generally forget, in assuming a disguise, that the shape of the ear is an almost indication to the trained eye.
Evidently you've mistaken me for someone else.
Oh, no, not at all. Though naturally I expected your denial.
That's true.
But when you paid your visit to my rooms at Baker Street, you carelessly
When
left
we
behind another identification.
work with biometrics.
There,
It's not only the eye
Identical,
that can
aren't
be used
Yes, I must admit they are.
to identify
You see, Mr.
someone.
Holmes, to catch one as clever as you, I had to use a very
Shape of the
special
ear
ear.
works too.
I knew you'd be unable to resist the bait of my
Besides
cigarette,
digitals.
having read with great interest your monograph on the ashes of 140 different varieties of tobacco.
I should advise you not to move, Mr. Holmes.
on your ingenuity, Mrs. Courtney. It was indeed a brilliantly designed trap.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Praise from a master is indeed gratifying. I shall always cherish the memory of your flattering words.
Memory?
Precisely. I'm afraid these gentlemen have a most regrettable task to perform.
Unless, of course, you care to turn over the missing musical box. In the future?
Possible.
I thought that would be your answer. Hamid! Careful! Careful. There's no need to be unnecessarily rough with our distinguished guests.
You realize, Mr. Holmes, that your demise will not take place here. The corpus delicti, you know.
Well, naturally.
Shall we go?
It's so fearfully awkward having a dead body lying about. Don't you agree, Mr. Holmes?
Mrs. Courtney? You mind if I have a cigarette?
Don't see why not. Be careful, Hamid.
It's the brakes, they bind. Thank you, Colonel Kavanagh. It's very considerate of you.
If I'm not mistaken, a note
You'll be
seems
happy.
on Batman and a Batmobile.
Be a painless one.
They look pretty much like this car.
Hamid, attach this to the motor of the taxi. That little attachment, my dear Mr. Holmes, contains the deadly fluid known as monosulfide. The Germans use it with gratifying results in removing their undesirables. Start the motor.
Thing that I like, I think it's cute in the British people. They avoid to say what they mean
Tape his
at all
mouth.
costs. It's always a euphemisms.
Now, up with him, Hamid.
This is not something particular to this movie.
You find yourself like Muhammad's coffin, Mr. Holmes. Between heaven and earth. Plenty of fuel in the tank? Good. It would be too bad to have anything go wrong through so simple an oversight.
There are exceptions, of course. And the big reason I'm with Sherlock.
Yeah? Good afternoon.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
No, I'm Dr. Watson.
Oh, of course, Dr. Watson. How stupid of me.
Oh, so, this is stupid of me. Won't you come in?
Well, I really came to see Mr. Holmes.
Oh, I'm afraid he's out. I don't know when he'll be back. Perhaps there's something I can do. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
You know, Sherlock Holmes and I have been engaged on a great many cases.
Oh, really?
Yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, this very moment, we're involved in one of the most baffling... Oh, well, won't you tell me your trouble? I may be able to help you.
That's very kind of you, Dr. Watson. Perhaps if I wouldn't be imposing too much.
Imposing? Oh, there's no imposition at all. A pleasure, I assure you. Now, tell me all about it,
Miss Williams.
Mrs. Williams.
I live in Surrey, Dr. Watson, and I've come up to London in sheer desperation. My only sister has disappeared, and the local police seem utterly unable to find her.
Well, Holmes and I solved a case exactly like that once. Very interesting, as far as I remember. I call it the adventure of the solitary cyclist. Oh, sorry. Now I come to think of it, it wasn't so very similar. Entirely different. I don't think what I was saying. Where were we?
She's only said... Until she disappeared last Thursday, she seemed to be in the best of spirits.
Possibly a romantic entanglement?
Oh, no, nothing of the sort. She left no note, Didn't even pack a bag, no explanation. She just started to walk to the village from our house in broad daylight and simply vanished from the face of the earth.
Oh, there.
Might I have a glass of water?
Yes, please, glass of water. I'll have one in 1 minute.
I don't understand what is her goal. Does that mean they have already ransacked the box home?
There you are, my dear.
Thank you, Dr. Watson.
No, you're not to cry anymore. You must pull yourself together.
Oh, I feel much better already knowing that you're going to help me. Oh, Dr. Watson, look!
Good heavens! Get through the fire brigade, quickly!
Haven't you a fire extinguisher?
By Jove, we have in the kitchen.
Yeah, that was smart. I was about to say that. I should try to light a fire to make Watson try to save the wooden box.
Don't you worry, Miss Williams. We'll have this thing out in no time.
Did we Watson not have the net? That's okay.
It's a mare.
Probably.
Well, you see, there was no need for the fire brigade after all. I hope you weren't too frightened, Miss Williams. Gone. That's the trouble with women. They always lose their heads in an emergency. Well,
Sexist.
the musical box. Great Scott! Miss Williams!
Well? Good.
And Holmes?
By now, Mr. Holmes has no doubt exchanged his violin for a harp.
Always assuming that heaven is his destination. And now that we have the missing musical box. Nineteenth note. 19th letter.
Yes.
He hasn't been there, you say? Holmes, where on earth have you been? I've been trying to get you at the club, at Scotland Yard, all over London.
You're looking for me in the wrong places.
Holmes, terrible things happened. I've been duped. That woman, she made a complete fool of me.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, she came here, let off a smoke bomb. I thought the whole place was on fire, and my first thought was to save the musical box.
No need to say any more. She has the box.
Yes.
Don't blame yourself too much, old fellow. She's an extremely clever antagonist. Well, you can console yourself with the thought that your charming friend is at least a reader of yours. You wrote about my little experiment with smoke and the cry of fire in a story you entitled A Scandal in Bohemia, which has just appeared in the Strand magazine.
All right, old boy. Don't rub it in.
Well, it may cheer you up to know that you made a fool of me, too. That cigarette stub was planted here for one express purpose. You're going to bandaging around this place.
Bandaging? What's the matter, Holmes? You hurt?
Explanations will have to wait until later. At the moment, we're faced with a problem which I fear is insurmountable.
Come over here, old boy, will you?
Right. Our opponents are in possession of all 3 parts of the code. And here are we, while the Bank of England plates pass into their possession.
Cheer up, old fellow, cheer up. As Dr. Samuel Johnson once said, there's no problem the mind of man can set that the mind of man cannot solve.
What's that, old fellow?
I was just quoting Dr. Samuel Johnson. He said there is
Thank
no...
you, Watson. Thank you.
Hmm?
Leaving the front reception room, we come into the main hall, where Dr. Johnson was in the habit of passing through to have his meager meals in the dining room opposite, in company with his friend and biographer, James Boswell. We will now pass up the stairway, which remains in its natural wood finish, just as it was when the good doctor was here. The framed etching on the wall is believed to have been presented to Dr. Johnson by the distinguished painter, Sir Joshua Reynolds.
I've been told here that that picture was given in by Mrs. Thrale, and it's definitely not a Reynolds.
Is that important, my dear? Oh, I'm sorry.
This way, ladies and gentlemen, please, this way.
Move along, children, move along.
The secretary's not on this floor.
Patience, Hamid.
I have a feeling
My
that...
dear Colonel, with Sherlock Holmes out of the way, what could go wrong?
And here we have the Garrett Library, in which Dr. Johnson wrote his famous dictionary, and in which you will see also many of the great man's books and other items of interest. Step forward, ladies and gentlemen, please, step forward. Standing in the corner is the secretary, which contains many of the original works by the literary genius. On this table, Dr. Johnson's cat, Hodge, used to sleep while his master worked. A strange thing about this cat, ladies and gentlemen, was its love of oysters. They do say that the dear doctor often went hungry to find the cat that delicacy. What a pity. Now we will visit the grey room, which is immediately below us, in which you will see the very bed in which Dr. Johnson died.
What did he die of?
Gout. Just gout. This way, ladies and gentlemen. Mind the steps, please.
Your keys.
Third shelf up. The knife. Gentlemen, the Bank of England plates.
Well, Mrs. Courtney, so we meet again. No, I shouldn't do that if I were you, Colonel Kepner.
I must congratulate you, Mr. Holmes. You're far more clever than I thought.
Thank you, Mrs. Courtney. Praise from you is indeed gratifying. I shall always cherish the memory of your flattering words.
Memory? Oh, thank you.
And now I have a most regrettable task to perform.
Holmes! Coming, Holmes! Holmes, you all right?
Perfectly, thank you, old fellow, but I think this gentleman on the floor requires some medical attention.
Take them in charge.
It's a pity her talents were so misdirected. Bank of England, Inspector.
I still don't understand how you solved it, Mr. Holmes.
It's entirely due to Dr. Watson. He gave me the clue when he mentioned Dr. Samuel Johnson.
Well, congratulations, Doctor.
Oh, thank you, Inspector. I don't think I'd have done it entirely without Mr. Holmes's help, you know.
That's me. let's go back to the main scene. Yep. Yep. So that was the movie. Those movies end kind of abruptly. Abruptly. But it was a good, I like it. We were for Sherlock Holmes. There's still 3 more to go with this actor, and then I will change it. Okay? So thanks so much for coming. I hope you have appreciated watching the greatest detective alive. Fictional. So it kind of live forever. The other things that can die, it's ideas. So we'll see each other again on Wednesday. I'll be playing Wukong. And on Friday, we'll play Final Fantasy. Continue playing Trail. And maybe next week, which will be the last week, maybe? August, I will review what will be the next movie for Sherlock Holmes that we watch. Okay? I don't know how many months we have until the end of AS5, right? 5 months until the end of the year. 4, 3 movies. I guess we need one more, right? To end this year. I'll try to pick a special one to December. Since the August is already done, yeah, just one movie to go. Maybe a Christmas. I like Christmas, by the way. I know many people don't. But me, it was never a religious date, you know. The celebration is about buying presents and celebrating by eating good food. But I call it Christmas anyway, because that's how I already knew it. I always knew the name, right? Before even knowing what it meant. The words. So anyway, thanks so much for coming, VOD watchers. Be on Twitch, YouTube, and you came live. Thank you so much. You did not stay, I understand. It was not that great. But I'll try to fix for next stream. And I will make some tests with codecs. It could also be the OBS player. It was not the codecs. Nosferatu didn't have any sound, so soundtrack, so it couldn't really test it. But both movies use different codecs. This was a Windows Media movie. And Nosferatu was an MP4. I will check to convert between types and see which one is best. I'll post the results on my Twitter later this week. Okay, so thanks so much for coming. See you next time. Let me music. Bye bye.